Hey, what is up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to a video. I'm back. I was gonna come back tomorrow, but I just decided, you know what? I have a little bit of spare time, so I thought I would just do it today. So we're gonna look at Brian Bolland, the art of Brian Bolland. It was interesting because I grabbed this because as I've been working on Blaster Kid, and I'm not gonna plug heavily like in this video, but definitely follow me on Instagram or Facebook because I've been posting updates just about every day. And so for the last few weeks, why I've been away from YouTube is the stuff that I'm doing is really, really time consuming. And I've been working 12, 13-hour days, and it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I've really been having a great time, and so it's definitely worth doing it. But as I've been working on this stuff, I come across challenges, and as like a lot of you know, I mean, like I'm not opposed to using reference, but most of the time, like 95% of the time, I never have comic books out when I'm drawing. Really, almost never, I would say. But as I've been doing more and more different stuff, there's artists where I go like, man, like he might be a good person to look at, or she might be a good artist to just cross-reference some of this stuff because like you come across a lot of challenges. It's a lot of problem solving doing comic books, and no matter how well you draw, I think lighting stuff and detail, like where to render, where not to, I don't really have a lot of trouble getting probably 40 to 50% into a piece. What I find is like the next like 25 to 30% is really, really difficult. And then finishing it, you've kind of already sort of faced all the demons. But a lot of times I want to bail out like 60% of the way through because the problem solving just gets really, really tough. And you end up having to make really they end up being like detail decisions, like am I going to render this, like is this going to be 50 buttons or one button. And Boland is a guy who's quite detailed, but I think manages it well. So this is, I have the book, but I also have a bunch of covers in here. We probably won't go through a ton of the covers, but we'll look at a couple. Let me pause this for one sec. I flipped on my table lights. I was concerned that there might be glare, so a lot of times if I'm shooting a book or comics, it's a little more challenging. But yeah, so there'd been a part of me that really wanted to look at Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein plates because of how much detail I put. I was curious of how he faded stuff to black because that's tricky without making stuff look muddy. And so I never did really ultimately get a look at Bernie's stuff. But Boland, some of the faces and stuff that I do, I'm like, I need to check out some Brian Boland. Because do you see how like there's so much like lighting on the face? I always, you think so too, Kitty? Look, my cat had to chime in. She's very excited we're back on YouTube. It's happening, Kitty. Um, but yeah, I found like it feels weird to draw all of our faces with like black and rendering. Like it's very foreign to me, and I'm not used to it yet. So you got to look at the best. This is an oldie. But let's see. Ooh, what I got in here? Oh, this is cool. Um, but yeah, and even like line choices, like are they all thin lines? Do you go thin to thick? If they're too thin, do they show up? It's a lot. It really is a lot to decide. And with experience, you just get better and better at it. And again, like you've got someone like Brian Bolland who's had a career of 40 years of just kicking ass. And it seemed like a good idea. And I figured, well, shit, if I'm gonna look at the art, I might as well freaking do a video because that's usually how it goes. See, look at this. Like the shadow on the nose and on the side of the face and the ear, it's just so kick-ass. And the hair, I'll get it. I just it takes me a few times. I've look, and the thing is I know people have been very, very complimentary to the stuff that I've been posting. I've had a lot of failures, even some of the pieces that I've shown. I mean, I'm not completely like thrilled with like how they turned out, or just, you know what I mean, it was like it didn't get exactly where I wanted it. but those failures really, really push me to try harder and to learn more. So I remind myself now that that feeling of uncomfortableness is actually really good, because it makes me want to try harder. It makes me want to pay more attention. Not just go on autopilot and start like rendering something. So okay, so let's get into the book itself, though. That's what we're all here for. Look, there he is. So let's see here. I'm gonna have to. We're gonna move towards sort of like it goes sort of chronologically through his career. And in fact, I was gonna mention, I don't have it, but there is a brand new book that came out that collects like a bunch of like original art scans of Brian's stuff, somewhat similar to like an artist edition. But I'm definitely interested in getting it. I don't have the money right now to do it, though, but hopefully it'll still be available in like a year or so, or not a year, but you know what I mean, just like not right now. Telling you, I like, it seems like I have a lot of books, and I do, but I can't always get them. I can't always afford them. So you make a little mental checklist of what you want to get, and then you save up money and you get them. Normally, I only get like 2 or 3 artist editions a year, but it adds up. You collect them for 10 years, all of a sudden you've got, a nice little collection of artist editions. Forbidden Planet. You can see the glare kind of kicking up. Oh, this is cool. I didn't know he drew this. I don't recognize this exact ad, but just the idea of it is pretty cool. Man, this is dope. I love. But it's interesting too, talking about detail. I feel that like this is the perfect level of detail for like a Star Wars vintagey sort of vibe. Like, it's detailed. This would take a while to draw, but it just looks so damn cool, and it's so clear. It's really fun. The Star Wars designs are just so freaking great. Look, he's standing by gigantic boobs. Don't tell anyone. Shh. It's a little treat for everyone in the video. Okay, so let's get into, because I kind of flipped through it, and I love this cover right here. It's crazy. Like, he's so good at like layering stuff. Like where it actually really creates like a very, very cool sense of depth. Oh, this is such a classic cover. I'm sorry. My camera struggle. These are like not thumbnail size, but they're kind of small. You won't be able to tell on the computer as easily, but let me get into. It's funny. So this is so random. This piece, I was looking at this maybe a half hour before I did the video. Just kind of glanced at the book, and I went like, oh, I should go to Heritage. I wanted to see. So Scott Williams has a really beautiful Sergeant Rock Brian Bolland piece, and I went on Comic Art Fans to see. I remembered him having a pretty huge scan of it there, and I wanted to check it out because again, that's what I'm talking about. It's like a face. It's heavily rendered, but it works. It didn't turn to mud. It still reads clear, but it has gray. Okay, like this is a good example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so I love black and white art. Blaster Kid's going to be colored, but do you see how the detail in here gives a sense of gray? The level of detail makes it almost look like there's screen tone or something over it, because it's just the density of like lines gives it like a gray feeling. And if I don't have that on a page, it feels naked to me. And some people draw that way, like if you see people, in particular if they ink in like Clip Studio, it looks so clear. And a lot of them will cover things up with things like digital splatter and stuff like that, just to give it a little bit of like grit. Yeah, I want that gray, and Bolland really gets like gray. Like, do you see in like his midsection, those lines really create gray. The speed lines make it look like there's gray. This looks like gray. So I was trying to like reverse engineer. Oh, this is such a badass double page spread. Sorry, I'll get the camera focus, but look at this. Whew. That is nice. I'll kind of pull out so you can see the whole thing. I actually, one of my favorite parts of the whole piece is I love how his hands are. And that black shadow on the palm of the hand. It's a bold move. And it works. It looks great. I don't know if I've ever done black on the hand like that. Like a whole palm of the hand. What is my cat doing? Super hot here. She's a little annoyed. And the shadows on the faces. Man, so cool. But yeah, so we may even do a Bernie Wrightson video this week. I was going to break out Frankenstein and just kind of give it a little bit of a perusal. We've looked at Bernie Wrightson a million times on my channel, but you know, it would be worth it to sort of check it out. And look, I will say this, like detailed art is really time consuming, and it's not for everyone. And if it's not for you and you're not comfortable with it, I would stay away from it. Because I have the patience for it, but I've been doing it my whole life. Like, my stuff has always leaned that way. So I kind of don't know another way to draw. I did a video on Patreon where I kind of explained that I had a lot of just challenges mentally doing art. Because I don't know how to ration it. Either go down fighting to the death, or I can't really draw. I saw them. I don't have like a fun gear. It's like some people are like, oh, I'll just draw like for fun. I'm like, fun? It's a goddamn war. But I do enjoy it though. That's the thing. It's just it's awesome. Oh my god, it's so good. So we'll go for like 3 more minutes, but this was just going to be about a 10-minute video. But I thought it would just be fun to sort of check out some of this stuff. But, you know, like the great thing is this is sequential art too, which is always fun to see. Like how do you put detail in sequential art? Because if it's too detailed, to me, it doesn't read like a comic. It gets a little too bogged down. So you need stuff like this hand kind of clawing out of the rocks. That's good. That's a good amount of detail, you know. Oh, but yeah, I don't know if I said the rest of the story, but when I went on Heritage, this original piece was up on Heritage, but I couldn't find the big scan of Scott. Scott's piece is in this book, though, but it's a good scan. I mean, it's fine. It definitely looks better as an RGB, like black and white scan. Man, this is so great. Bolland is really, really detailed. It was funny because he actually noted me, and I really do actually want to have him on. I just got so busy, but he had seen one of the videos that I've done, and he may see this video too. If you do, Brian, how are you? You know, your work is so beautiful and so inspirational, and it's very iconic. And that's why, you know, as someone like me who's aspiring to draw comics, you know, I go to the greats to try to learn. But shoot, now I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, but he explained a little bit of some of the techniques that he used. I think it was on a Killing Joke page. That wasn't my point, though. I'm kind of faking that there was resolution to that. I was going a different direction with what I was saying, but I can't remember it. Man, this is great. Oh, but he had said that my work was like, he's like, oh, I thought I was crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's hard. This is nuts though. This is insane. Like this level of detail. This is a lot of stuff to draw. This will take a long time to get through, no matter how proficient you are. There's just no quick way to draw this quantity of stuff. And you know, look, I mean, the thing is I feel like you know, I want to make sure that Kelsey doesn't freak out seeing some of the stuff that I do, but it's like I don't you can't always do all detail, or then it loses the impact of the detail. So, you know, artists like Mignola become very important. Artists like Jay Lee become very important. Artists like, you know, Tim Sale, you know, that really boiled it down to like just what you need on a page. It's a mindset that you have to have, because there's no, you know, dark without light and detail without some relaxing stuff. So let me try to find them. This is pretty cool. But like, look at that. I don't know. Like if I tried to render a face that much right now, 9 times out of 10, I would probably go off the rails and mess it up in my mind, and then I would feel the piece was ruined. Um, it's just that's a lot of detail to manage on a face without it like completely um, changing like the facial expression. Like look at that, that's so sick. Again, like shadows on the face though. Do you see that? This shadows throughout the hair, underneath the hair. It's just brilliant shit, you know. Look at this. You have to really see stuff through. That is a very important element of it. Is if you bail out, like I was saying, how it gets hard, like 50 to 60% of the way into a piece or page or panel. Um, if you see it through, you probably will land the jump more times than not. But it doesn't feel like it when you're doing it, and it's easy to quit at that point where it's like it's unfinished. It'd be like a painter, you know, when you're painting a painting, it can look ugly for a lot of the process, and you have to get used to that that sensation of like this isn't done. This is just like hours 6 through 13 are going to be a little rocky, and is what is I build up things. Look at the hair; it's so cool too. What is it, Kitty? What? Tell me. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find this dread piece. I think it's or Sergeant Rock. I think it's right over here. Let's see. My cat is very upset about something. Oh, that penguin story is so good. Oh, here it is. All right, so we'll end on this piece. Again, this is a nice scan of it. Not as nice as what Scott had up on Comic Art Fans originally. His scan is still beautiful. It's just small. I think when you have a paid subscription to CAF, if it expires, I think that your scans go back to small, and then you have to re-upload them to have the big scan. Because I almost know for a fact he had a big scan of this at one point up. I've seen this piece in person too. I think he had it at Wildstorm one time. I vaguely remember actually like seeing it in person. Freaking insane. But look at that. Get my camera focus. Splatter on the background, and then just lots of rendering. Bolland actually kind of mentions it in the description here. Toothbrush and flick it all over everything. He may have put some sort of vellum down or liquid frisket to cover up areas that he didn't want it in. Like he wouldn't want it in the pupils of the eyes. But all right, you guys have a great day. We've got a 17-minute video, and I may not be back tomorrow, but I'll definitely be back a few times this week. I'm going to try to really stay on a schedule. But it's like I'm having so much fun drawing. It actually is very, very difficult to pull myself away from the drawing table. And 100%, you got to follow me on Instagram or Facebook for sure. I don't tweet that much, but I've been uploading a lot on Instagram and even doing stories with other updates that I'm not putting on my feed. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. I love you all, and thanks for hanging in there. Again, the only reason I was gone is because I'm working on Blaster Kid, which is what people want. So it's you know, it'll be better that way. All right, later.